Hi, welcome to Astrology for GAN Traders. My name is Olga Morales. Today I've put together a new, very short presentation as part of the WD GAN series, and I'm going to just focus on one of GAN's quotes where he talks about within a circle is a square and a triangle, but I'm just going to be looking at the square today and how we can use that to study cycles in the market. So let's get started. So here's GAN's emblem. So he's quoted as saying within a circle is a square and a triangle. So there's our circle, our square and our triangle. And as astrologers we know that the triangles is a grand trine and the square is a grand square. Now GAN talks about the law of vibration, and vibration has a lot to do with harmonics, and as astrologers all the aspects we use are actually a harmonic or a division of the circle. So the first one is like a string or a circle as a synodic cycle of any planet around the sun. So when it does a revolution it would be called a conjunction, or it's done one whole revolution. When we divide that cycle by half, we're looking at its opposition. Again, when we do a third of it, we call it's a trine in astrology, so we're taking a third part of its cycle. When we look at the fourth part, or the quarter, this is the square. The fifth is known as the quintile, which is a 72 degrees. The sixth part is a 60 degrees, which is our sextile, and the seventh part is a septile, not used that often, but very important when you're looking at the numbers. Okay, and that comes to 51.428. So they're known as aspects. When astrologers talk about aspects between planets, it's basically a separation between them. Or if we're looking at one planet's cycle, we can divide it up into harmonics according to these divisions. Now for this presentation I'm going to be focusing purely on the 90 degrees, which is the fourth harmonic. Okay, so but going back to GAN's emblem, when we divide a circle of 12 parts, which is the zodiac, by 3, we have 4 elements. So we have fire, earth, air and water. But when we divide the circle of 12 by 4 parts, we have 3 qualities. We get cardinal, fixed and mutable. Then this is the foundation of astrology, and really to understand cycles and how to analyse them, you need to really know that simple division either by 3 or 4, which is the basis of GAN's emblem, and how you can apply that. So let's have a look. For example, what I've plotted here, this is using Timing Solution. It's an amazing software that allows you to analyse data very quickly. If you had to do this by hand it would take you a long time, but anyway you can push a button and it does all the work for you. So what I've done here is looked at the fourth harmonic of Saturn on wheat. The data I had was just going back to 1959. Now obviously if you have more data you can look at these cycles, all these repetitions, more of them, and go back. I mean, I did have some old data, but I somehow I don't know where it is at the moment. So anyway, this is what I had, and it's amazing that what the software shows when it shows you these hotspots here. Okay, so this hotspot, basically what the composite is showing is that it's a statistically synchronistic point where they line up together. So it's a hotspot, I call them. Now in this, see how there's only 90 degrees down here? This is the fourth harmonic, so it's a quarter of the cycle and it overlaps that. And so this first part here is the cardinal area, this part here is a fixed area, and the last part is the mutable area. Okay, so if I have a look at that particular zone is between 16 and 27 cardinal, where it's at hottest point. Okay, now what I've done here, I've actually then plotted Saturn's between 16 and 27 cardinal onto wheat, so you can actually see what that cycle is showing you. And you can see that there is, in that point, there's some lows in that area. Okay, so that's what that composite is showing. And we're in that zone at the moment. Okay, so because this is a geocentric cycle, you can see that it will go to those degrees again, because it goes retrograde, direct, and retrograde, and it will swing on that point. Okay, sometimes Saturn's not going to be going, depending where in its cycle it goes retrograde or direct, it might not do it in those degrees. Okay, so the cycle is very specific. Now I just want to mention GANN'S fatal number, 7, which I have written, actually produced a DVD on that as a lecture that I presented at the Melbourne conference, if you were interested in it. But basically his quote is, "The number 7 is a fatal number referred to many times in the Bible, and it is ruled by the planet Saturn, which brings about contractions, depression and panics." Now, if you have a copy of GANN'S Private Ephemeris from Lambert Gann, if you go to the 6th of September 1946 and look at his planetary notation, you'll find some more clues to this cycle. Okay, he's got his ephemeris has got lots of little notations that he recorded while things were happening, and always looking back to the past, and it's it's amazing. Now, the other thing Gann was doing was also plotting planets in terms of their planetary longitude on his charts to give him support and resistant lines for price. And this is what I've done. The red line is actually Saturn line on wheat. And at the moment it's sitting right on that Saturn, it was, and actually also in the zone of that area that I was showing you on the composite. Okay. Now, I asked myself why. Once you find the sensitive axis or degrees, you want to know why. Can we refer it back to something? And this is when we start looking at natal charts, and also it gives you confidence in that natal chart. Basically, this is Gann's hand-drawn horoscope. It's hard to see, obviously, on that scale, but he has, in the centre, he has actually 4 natal charts. And around the outside of the circle, he has just conjunctions and oppositions of the outer planets, okay? And what he's doing here, when we do these, astrologers put charts together, we're trying to find out the synastry between them, or the common axis that they may share, so that when we have transiting or transits, we want to know how they're going to, or when they're going to be influenced by these transits, by aspect, okay? So what is actually in that chart, I've actually replicated it, is the centre wheel is actually the sighting of Columbus of the Americas in 1492. And then the second wheel is actually the American independence chart, 4th of July. And then the other 2 charts are the CBOT, which are the Chicago Board of Trade that Gann was using. 2 charts, you can see the dates yourself in there. So basically, he was looking at where the, common bond between these charts, okay? So let's have a look at where the cardinal signs are. We've got, Aries is one of the cardinal signs, Cancer's another cardinal sign, Libra's another cardinal sign, and Capricorn's another cardinal sign. So you can see our cardinal cross here, okay? So they're the ones, every time Saturn's going through that zone, a cardinal area, it's going to be aspecting all these natal positions, either by conjunction, square, or opposition, and that's what we need to know. They're hard aspects, okay? Now, an easy way to see that, because I'm a cosmobiologist, is using a 90-degree dial, because this is based on a quarter of the cycle and overlaps 4 charts onto one dial, okay? And what it does, it's basically this 30 degrees is, like I showed you on the composite chart, is the cardinal area. The second 30 degrees is a fixed, and the last is immutable. So you can see that the 16 degrees of cardinal, we start having all these natal positions, and also the 27th. So this little wedge here is the hot spot that I showed you on the chart, the composite chart for wheat, okay? Now, he was using his CBOT charts for his predictions in wheat, because he believed that war and wheat are connected, Okay, so he had his country's chart and also the CBOT charts together. Okay, so that was just a very short presentation. Obviously I go into more details in other things I do, but thank you for listening. And if you're interested in more, I've got some upcoming presentations. One is for the ATAA, which is the Australian Technical Analysts Association, and I'll be presenting there actually next Monday in Sydney on the 16th of April. And the next one, the big one, will be at UAC on the 27th of May in New Orleans, and I'll be presenting on the HARMONIC and how to study stock market cycles. If you're interested and you happen to be there, make sure you come to my lecture. And during these presentations, a lot of people ask me what software I use. Now, Timing Solution is the one that gives you all the statistical analysis, and really I couldn't do my work without it. And SolarFire has the graphic, Timing Solution's got a graphic ephemeris, but SolarFire allows me to use my dial, which is very important to me because I'm a cosmobiologist. So anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed that.